Excuse it, Duval and me. Tonight is the Man Cave edition. And with us, we have our special guest, First Coast Sports Own, fifth quarter, dope boy, just continuous accolades from the great Big Game James.
Yes, sir.
Always, always, sir. And before we're gonna begin, we always begin with a short prayer. So, would anyone like to do prayer today? Since I'm the, we got Deacon Jorge. Oh,
He hasn't failed on me yet, not
man.
quite yet.
Oh man. I got y'all. I got y'all. If y'all bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, we come forth tonight with praise and gratefulness in our hearts. We thank you for us arriving safe here. We ask that you will open up our minds and our hearts, that we may come together for your purpose, Father, and have whatever message you will have us get out tonight. And we thank you for this opportunity and for blessing us with it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, and now that we have our prayer out of the way, we're going to jump right into it, guys. First off, we have some breaking news. We have A.J. Boye. They announced it, trade to the Broncos, and I was just wondering you guys' thoughts on that.
I mean, that's really the biggest thing. When you look at this and you look at the cut of Marcel Darius, it's really more so about creating cap space because they don't have a lot. They came in, where I believe the third, third, all those guys were negative when it came to the lowest cap space. But now you got rid of him, you freed up money. Now you're, instead of being like negative $3 million, you're in the almost close to $40 million. You're probably going to end up making another cut or something with Calais Campbell, a few other pieces. That's really what they're looking at. And is AJ not a great player? I think he's a good player. I think he's somebody that can complement for it. But they feel like maybe they can go get somebody else in the open market. Or this one thing this draft does have is a ton of young, long corners that are particularly a little bit better at running and playing man. And don't just grab that can run with them. If you look at the flaws that AJ had, it was if I don't grab you, if I don't get you off the line, it's going to be a long day for you. You're also at the mercy of the refs. Are they going to call pass interference? Are they going to do any of these things? And that's something that you can't gamble with moving forward and when you're trying to build for longevity. AJ wasn't going to be here in the long picture, so get rid of him now.
All right, we're back at Excuse Duval and me, and we were talking about the A.J. Boye trade to the Broncos and what was going on with that. And I believe we had a rebuttal coming from Jay. No?
I ain't got no rebuttal.
You don't have any thoughts?
Nope.
Oh, man, you
Sayonara, Boye. Y'all got 10 picks in this draft. Like he said, it's a lot of long, maybe stronger cornerbacks that y'all have to go through. You know, hopefully y'all make the right decision. Yeah, knowing Jaguars, y'all tend to hit a bump in the road every now and again. But other than that, I hope y'all make the right decision and actually draft a good secondary. Maybe somebody in particular, old boy from Ohio State. I think y'all need him off rip first round.
I don't think we'll have enough draft capital to get up to
Only
3 for
way
that. We'll have to spend all the draft capital that they acquired just to get him at 3. Because you got other guys. Early? The only reason why I say that, you're going to have other teams that's probably going to put more out to get a quarterback. You got 4 quarterbacks they're discussing that's going in the top 10 right now. So they get up there in that top 3, you're going to have to spend a lot of draft capital. Even though we got 2 first-rounders next year, I still wouldn't mortgage the future if that's the way you're going. If you're getting rid of all your veterans, like Big Game just said, Calais might be gone too. So you might want to, pump your brakes on that. It's some good guys that's going to be in free agency that could fill a void, but at the same time, you don't want to mortgage your future when you got some premium picks at 9 and 20 that you can do, unless it's somebody there. Like, the only person I think that'll be great enough for them is Isaiah Simmons. That's your chess piece because he can play anywhere in the defense. He had 100 snaps at cornerback, 100 snaps at linebacker, 100 snaps at safety, and his production was off the charts at each position.
Isaiah Simmons is way more valuable at a linebacker, though, not a corner or a safety for the Jaguars. I don't think that would be.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he could be the what was his name? Gosh, for Seattle Seahawks that came from West Virginia.
Bobby Wagner.
Talking
Not
about Bam?
Bob Wagner.
Oh, you talking about?
You talking about Bam?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of those are things that are real good. But when I think about it like this, who was the starter? Who was the best corner for Kansas City? Nobody off the top of the head. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Not a problem. It's a point with that. Damn, I'm trying to remember who they played. Who's the best corner for the 49ers?
Richard Sherman.
That's my point.
Right.
If you look at what both of those teams possess are great defensive lines and good linebacker play. So it's a team game. You can complement, and there's a lot of guys, and that might be where they shift to. So let's say you got rid of Yannick, which is going to happen, whether it be sign and trade. You have a dynamic guy in Josh Allen, and maybe you do get an Isaiah Simmons, or you do go get a
Garrett Brown.
Derek Brown, or the I can't think of his name, from South Carolina, the other D tackle.
Crenshaw.
Yeah, Kinlaw. So you go and you really invest in your D line, and then maybe at that 20th pick or in that early pick in the second round, you find a true Mike linebacker, which now helps enhance. Which unfortunately Simmons isn't. He's more of a better version of Miles Jack. But you go and you find something that helps your front seven, and if you can get pressure to the quarterback, then that means your secondary is not going to have to be out there that long. And DJ Hayden and those guys could actually do an adequate job. A.J. Bouye missed a good amount of games, and they still performed very, very well. So for the fact that you can get rid of that much cap space and you're able to get something, preferably a third round or a second round pick, would have been great. But he honestly, if I'm a GM somewhere else, I'm not looking at him as that kind of value. So now and one thing I will give Caldwell props on is his ability to find talent. The one thing that should be damning to any Jaguar fan is that in the last 3 years, you have lost 6 players that you actually brought in through draft, that you brought in through your system in the top 100. So that's Allen Robinson, Allen Hearns. You've got Jalen Ramsey, obviously. Miles Jack was one of those.
And your man,
Smith,
Dante
Fowler. And you're probably going to lose Leonard Fournette after that. So that means that they're doing a good job of hitting on people. They're just not doing a very good job of keeping them.
Yeah.
So if you can keep these guys, then you're going to be really good.
I still think they don't have to reach far for. I mean, if you get rid of all these guys, go ahead and grab your Leonard Williams, the guy that you wanted in the first place. He's going to be a free agent. You got some quality guys at defensive tackle that's going to be in free agency as well that you can hit on and don't have to overspend as well. So, because the production doesn't really match that of, we got to spend $80 million plus to get you. So you still go out and get a decent replacement for a couple guys along the defensive front versus going, and like you said, you need that younger talent at the linebacking position. I think that'll be great for them because the league is turning into a nickel league almost. You need those guys that can run. Right. You need those guys that can run, and I think that's a great chess piece for them to get at 9, but we'll see what happens.
All right. You have anything, Jorge? And then we'll wrap up.
I was just going to say it would be good for us to have a lot more depth at the position, especially our defensive line, rather than talent over wide. I've seen it multiple times where depth beats talent.
So moving on to the next topic. We recently, James, you recently went to the Combine yourself, and I was just wondering, what was your experience like going to the NFL Combine in person?
As a player, or when I just went up there?
Well, actually both. Thank you, audience member.
As a player, it's like I think a lot of fans don't understand this, but imagine, the only thing I can kind of break it down to is imagine doing your most important job interview or any job interview in your underwear. Like, your boss is literally looking at every aspect of you, judging your character, judging your body based upon what you look like in underwear. Like, if you're an accountant, imagine being in your drawers, crunching numbers in front of your boss. That's kind of what you're doing. It's cold, but you don't really get a chance. It's a whirlwind when you're a player. So, you don't get a chance to really enjoy it and embrace what it is, but it's a fun experience. But as a reporter going there, it was really cool. It was like a kid in a candy store. Like, you're seeing all these top prospects, and you really have to pace yourself and really have a plan going in. I can't wait to go back next year. I'm going to go every year that I continue to do this. You also get a chance to. It's really a great networking event to meet NFL personnel, other journalists, other people from other teams, so that like if the Jags played the Eagles, I would fly up and go meet with a guy like Mike K, and get a chance to learn the city, learn a little bit more about them, do their radio shows, let them do our show. You grow yourself professionally. The National Association of Black Journalists had a really big meeting, and you see the who's who of the top NFL reporters, like Josina Anderson was there, bunch of other people were there. Yeah, Josina curved me again. That's every time I see her, I get curved. I don't understand. It's kind of like that Tevin Campbell song, "Can We Talk?" Like she freezes me. I don't know why. Like I just become, as a guy who gets paid to speak a lot, I literally shut down and can't talk when I see her. But other than that, it's cool. Like you see the Jaguar guy, Keenan McCardell was there. He's excited. It's like they're excited to see you, and they're all doing their job. So. I will say this group of young men came in well more polished than I've ever seen. They answered questions very well. Some of them still didn't perform as good as you would think, but like to use the Miami guys from Jacksonville, Pickney and Quarterman, I really liked how they did their interviews. Shaq Quarterman would be somebody that I would love to see in a Jaguars uniform as a true Mike linebacker. Okay. 2-down kid. Can't really be there on the third, but to be honest with you, like you just brought up, it's a nickel league anyway. So if he can give us what we need on first and second down, bring him out, and then then you can get away with a Miles Jack and another more athletic linebacker.
I definitely agree with that assessment.
So it's also a party. Like one thing what I think I learned is that you really don't need the press credentials to go up there and really experience a lot of the draft. It's a fan experience. So if you want to fly out to Indy, you can watch. Like there's places that you can't go. Like you can't go in the back where the TV stuff is. You can't wander some places. But the bench press was like the only live event that we could watch outside of a couple other people. But you could literally sit there front row and watch the bench press and see all the top guys. They ask you not to ask for autographs, but it's really an interactive thing that I think the league is going to continue to develop because they can monetize it. If the league can get you to pay money for it, obviously they're going to do it.
Interesting that you bring up money. And moving on, I was wondering, do you think something like the Combine could ever take place in Jacksonville, seeing how it's been in Indy for since '87?
No, because I think it's just. Downtown Jacksonville it's Achilles heel to do anything. I've gotten a chance to see downtown Pensacola, which is a shame. Downtown Pensacola looks 20 times better than downtown Jacksonville. And they've got hotels. They can actually house things. Downtown Indy, you have major hotels like the Omni. You have the Hyatt Regency. You have a Trump Towers. You have all these different hotels that can literally house thousands of people in a short amount of time. They don't. When you look at where it would take place in the indoor, or it's not outdoor, so the indoor practice facilities, and even if they build up Lot J, there's just literally nothing that's connecting you within walking distance to be able to get where you need to get. And there's so much walking that's done, even though it's snowing, but it's literally everything that I needed to get was within a mile at max. And also the nightlife. That's really where all the networking happens. People it's a running joke, but the lack of development in Jacksonville is what's really holding it back from being the city that it's capable of being. And we can talk about should we give the Jags Lot J, should we not? It doesn't really matter if the Jags stay here or not. The fact that the downtown is not developed is not Shad Khan's problem. It's the city of Jacksonville's problem, and it's holding it back from another Super Bowl, maybe something that's more realistic, like hosting the draft or things like that. Some national championship games, bowl game, bigger bowl, other bowl games, other venues, soccer. There's a lot of things that can be happening on the sports business side that most fans think, oh, this just helps the Jags, and I'm not. I don't really. Like I'll fly out to Miami if I really want to go have a good time. But just think about that. All the people in the city that have the means to be able to spend that money locally would rather leave. And that's also what your players are doing. That also adds into the experience of the player. The one thing that a lot of these guys talk about is the minute the season is over, they're the first thing out of here. So you're losing millions of dollars in just the team alone.
Yeah, that's what Khan was saying. Like his friends come here. And they come in for a day and they gone. Like even people around the league that's talking with them about certain stuff and having meetings, they don't even want to stay. So that's what I was saying about, when people talk about Con, it ain't Con. Con saying everything he need to say about the city. Like, they stuck in an old mind frame of how it should be built and how it should be, and it shouldn't be that way.
Honestly, you should just give it.
Yeah, George, you got a question?
No, not a
Or
question.
comment?
That was an add-on. That
All right.
goes back to us in our local politics, but I ain't going to take us off topic.
There you go. Any any combine about the combine experience questions, guys?
Jorge Yang.
Level up. Our next topic: which players gained the most from the combine by position area, like quarterback, running back, wide receiver?
Probably the most impressive quarterback that I saw was Jalen Hurts. He ran well, showed that he's a really good athlete, very smart, handles adversity very well, and things like that. Running back-wise, I would say Cam Akers did a really, really good job. Obviously, Isaiah Simmons, the DB, I don't want to butcher his name, but from Ohio State, he solidified the left tackle from the University of Louisville, him running a 5.1 really solidified him. Also, left tackle from Alabama. You really see a lot of these guys, and it's a whirlwind, so you just kind of try to remember different bits and pieces of them. Jonathan Taylor, I believe that's his name, the running back from Wisconsin.
Yes,
did a really, really good job.
Yeah, 4.39.
I was going to
guy.
say him and Cam, not to cut you off, him and Cam impressed me out of the running backs.
Big guy, looked the part. Guys who didn't, I think DJ Dallas might have hurt himself a little bit. One of the things that you don't want to look, I don't look as impressive as I used to look when I was then, but the best I've ever looked was after the combine, was during the combine. I was a little chiseled, I had a six-pack, all those things. You really focus on working out. You're not supposed to come in and look bad body. He had a BMW, body made wrong. And the worst thing that you can do,
shout out to my girl Danielle.
he's 185 pounds. And the worst thing that I say that anybody can be is skinny fat. No offense to anybody, but when you're trying to be a professional athlete, you don't want to have man boobs and you're only 185 pounds. If you're 300 pounds, they'll give you a little bit of grace. But at 185, like, that's that. But DJ Dallas has film, and he's pretty good. LaMichael Pirine from the University of Florida guys. Yeah. His 40 lacked, but his bench press and some of the other things that he did looking in the on-field drills looked really well. Wide receivers, the wide receiver from Memphis, 230 pounds, ran a 4.3. He's not going to be a first-round pick, but when you're looking at, obviously, this fourth-round pick that the Jazz got, that would be clutch if you can get him in the third or fourth round. And I know I'm stretching this, but, like, it would be so nice to have somebody like that that's a weapon that you possibly can use. I don't really know, but maybe Gruden has ideas of what he can do with that. The tight end group looked good, but no first-round picks in the tight end group. Probably
not even the guy from Notre Dame.
Nah, his production is just not, like. Here's the thing: he's caught 40 passes in his career, or
right?
Something like that. That's just not epic. That's not something that you just like, all right, I have to have that. Now, he did have a really big game against Georgia. Outside of that, it's no consistency. When you're in the first round, you're looking at guys who consistently give you plays, and because they're going to be a game changer. Now, that doesn't mean they won't be a good NFL player. It's just about what the first round is supposed to mean. The first round is not necessarily a reach pick. The first round is supposed to be a player that you're going to see 10 years from now making plays, that somebody that possibly would be in the Ring of Honor, something along those lines.
All right. Before you move on,
no, I wasn't gonna move on.
I like to say that Jake Fromm had a great combine. I watched it. Henry Ruggs did good to me too.
They talking about Matt Ryan backup for Jake Fromm.
That's cool too. If he come to Atlanta, it is what it is. But I think I like Jake Fromm in the Patriots jersey next year, man.
Actually, when Swift did all right, man.
A lot of them did pretty good.
He went to Georgia and all,
Well, a lot of them Georgia boys went out there and did good, man. But we ain't gonna talk about them too much.
I kind of like some of the underrated guys. I really like the wide receiver from Notre Dame, Claypool. He's 6'4", 238, and they're saying that he could play tight end as well. I think that'd be like a good Jordan Reedish type of player to get, like in the fourth round, fifth round. I think he's a guy that's going to get some, he did really good in his vertical as well. I think he did a 42-inch vertical.
I was shocked about that.
Yeah.
The verticals and the broad jumps were really astronomical.
Off the charts.
It doesn't really, it doesn't match the 40s, but to be honest with you, the 40 is It's probably the most overrated drill in the draft. I really only care about your 10-yard split, probably 20-yard split. But if you're jumping over 10 feet and you're jumping really 35 plus in the vertical, you're really, really good.
Especially for a position too, it's like the cone drill. That's to me more important.
Right.
Can you hips, can you move? Yeah, agility side to side.
Yeah, you got the kid.
How many times do you run
a
straight
straight line? From Texas A&M that played linebacker, 4.46 40. He did really great too.
Texas A&M also has a there was 2 quotables that I saw come out of there, the interviews. One of them wasn't supposed to leak out. It was the left tackle, I think it's Tate is his name, I remember. But they asked him if there was one thing that you could change about yourself, what would you change? And he said he'd like to have a couple more inches. Not like a couple more inches in height. Laying down.
Come on, man.
I thought that was a very honest,
Mike
very
Honcho
funny,
out here.
But the defensive tackle from Texas A&M talked about how he just loves football. It's the only sport where you can literally impose your will on another man and the police not going to come. And, you can just bully somebody and just beat them down and, people cheer you for it. That's me, shortening it up. But it was just awesome. It was an awesome quote. I was bring him to the Jags now.
Right.
Get in that phone booth, baby.
Right. There was a lot of guys that really shocked me. I think it was another kid that's underrated that played in the smaller school levels. He's a safety, 6'3",
The boy from Lenore Ryan?
Right. 4'5", 42 inch. He had like a 42 or 44 inch vertical. He was off the charts as well. Great production too in college, but he just didn't play with the D1 guys. So it's a lot of sleepers in the draft.
Well, since we were talking about the tight ends, we'll make this final question. Then we got to get James up out of here. It's going to be tight in the end. Should we, as the Jags, go after a tight end in free agency, or should we wait on one in the draft, seeing how we got a lot of big-name free agents like Olsen, the aforementioned Reed, Ebron, or should we draft like one of the guys from Florida Atlantic, Notre Dame? What do you guys think?
I definitely think that's one of the positions that you just haven't really addressed, even though you do have the one that you drafted in the 3rd round last year.
Oliver.
Yeah, Oliver. But you got, I would say, Olsen you're not going to get. He's going to Seattle. You're not going to get Hopper from Atlanta. But I am intrigued by Jordan Reed. If he can get cleared, he's somebody that I felt we should have went after a couple years ago. Coming off of the Super Bowl, he's a guy who can create mismatches in space, but he's really not a blocking tight end. But you have O'Shaughnessy and guys like that who can get that done. But you don't have a true weapon. And actually, even before I think O'Shaughnessy got hurt, you looked at what Gardner Minshew was able to do. He's very good at the check down. And the tight end was getting a lot of targets when he felt comfortable having a tight end. So you get a Jordan Reed, you use an Oliver, and then you go find maybe another guy that's a sleeper in the draft, which I was suggesting is that's where you go get the kid from Memphis. That's where you maybe get the wide receiver from Notre Dame, somebody who's not a true tight end, but one you can use in space and create mismatches where he maybe can block or chip, but he's really there to keep a linebacker in the game, but his speed, he can outrun a guy.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's something that that Najee hit on is that, Oliver could really ball. For all the injuries and all that stuff, he was a problem.
Oliver, he was saying Oliver was really explosive if he could stay on the field, but how many guys have...
But that's the thing, Jordan Reed...
Jordan Reed the same way.
Yeah, he hasn't. That's why I say there's a lot of injury-prone tight ends in there. There's a lot of injury-prone tight ends in free agency right now, and
I'm sorry, I forgot you was over there. Get him some more chicken.
Ebron is a good look, but I think his price tag gonna be a little.
He definitely can be. He's only good against us.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
We the only people don't cover him. No, actually, he had a pretty good year that one year.
Yeah, he had a pretty good year this past year.
All right, we're going to take a break. Appreciate James for coming out. And
Appreciate
we'll
you,
be
bro.
Back.
Thank y'all for having me.